Okay, so what are we into today at the lake? So the next project is a complete re-rig of this 1981 Hydrostream stringer bottom race boat. Now this is a little bit of a mystery craft. It's uh, it's 15 foot long. The bottom kind of looks a lot like a Ventura. The capacity plate and the owner's registration say Ventura. It had a pretty long race history as we understand it, originally as a J production boat, a JP boat. Um, it wasn't a very successful E production boat. As you can see, it's got four stringers. It's not a flyweight. It's not a paper deck. It's close to a production weight deck in bruiser. It's about 265 pounds the way it sits right here. Um, uh, we had to have some repair work done this last winter. In the video I'll post a picture of it, but you can see that corner, which is a pretty darn good match. Okay, so that I was saying that corner was fixed by Extreme Paint, Auto Body, and Marine in Wyoming, Minnesota. Aaron Wackholtz. He did a really good job on that. We also, if you look down here, you can see we had to do a little core repair. Most of the core is still solid in the old girl, but there was a spot there where somebody had mounting screws and the core was bad. So he sectioned that out, patched a little piece of the stringer. Some jack wagon had through bolted the foot throttle through the core and the floor. Luckily, that was salvageable, so we got that fixed. Our issue now is this seat box was in a bad state of repair. Somebody had at one point mounted the seat using toggle bolts for hanging stuff on drywall. Um, we have just got it cleaned up. We drilled a couple. These two holes, we just drilled these. Where it's black, it's really mushy. It was so black here that you could see the hole saw. The pilot wouldn't even hold. It jumped when we went to drill. So we're going to have to cut a section of this top of this seat box off. Visually, what we can see right now, the core under there looks okay. It doesn't look like there's been a lot of water in there. We're gonna refab the top of this, I think, as an aluminum weldment. We're gonna have an aluminum weldment made to hold our foot throttle and our dead pedal up in front here. Our plan is we're gonna hang a 60-degree OMC V6 on this, like a 150, 175 type. We have a 150 intruder, and we've got a 150 capacity plate, and so that seems like a good fit. We are converting it to hydraulic steering. The dash, there's mounts underneath it. At one point, it's had string steering. We took some really old dual ride guide out of it. The cables were way too long. The interesting thing is this thing's old enough that we think it's had a clamp-on motor. There's clamp marks, so it's either had an older Mercury or possibly a Chrysler old enough to have clamps on it. The transom is solid. There's only one set of holes. It looks like they've always had good sealant on them. They're not soft. The boat is pretty sound. So that's where we're at. We're gonna start by sorting out this seat box, getting this plate made for our dead pedal and our foot throttle. Our goal is we're gonna rig this as a 2-in-line. This is mainly kids and teenagers that run this thing, and so we think we've got enough length here for a 2-in-line setup. Aaron actually makes an A-style fiberglass all composite bucket seat, and he's making us a couple blue ones now, and we're gonna get those in here, and we're gonna get sorted out on fuel cell and battery mount and that kind of stuff. Just to expand, I was saying that this thing had a pretty long history. It wasn't very successful as an EP boat, as an E-production boat, but then it ran a lot in VP75 with like 3-cylinder 90 horse, and then after it ran that way, we switched it over to make a drag boat out of it, and we ran it quite a while with a 175 or a 200 on it, and it runs about 55, 58 with a 90 horse on it, and it runs about 90, 92 with a stock 175, and it's getting pretty close to 100 with a good 200. It's not super safe at those speeds. It's kind of outside the original design envelope, whatever particular running surface is under here. And you got to remember in 1981, there were V6s, but nobody was putting them on boats this big. This would have been, a hot version of this back in the day. Would have had an inline tower of power, 140, 150, or a 140 crossflow on it. And, those motors are they're lucky if they're 115 at the prop, those old crankshaft rated 150s and 140s. So it's exciting with 175 or 200 on it. And really the goal is we're getting a lot of punks out here with 300 horse personal watercraft that think they're fast. And those things punch pretty hard, but unless there's some GP RXP hybrid, none of them are very fast on the big end. So this thing should be quick enough to stay a few links behind them on the bottom and then just run away and hide from them over 65 miles an hour. So that's kind of the goal here, we're going to sticker this probably as a 75 horse, whatever we put on here, and we're going to adjust attitudes on car motor guys and fast personal watercraft.